Lagos Talks
91.3.
News.
President Muhammadu Buhari has written to the Nigerian Senate seeking approval of the reimbursement of 9.69 billion naira to Plateau and Borno states as funds expended on federal roads, which fell within the period before the federal government puts a stop to such interventions. According to the letter read by the President of the Senate, Senator Ahmed Lawan, during plenary, the refund would be carried out in form of a promissory note payable to Plateau and Borno state government for the rehabilitation of federal highways in the country.
The Senate may wish to be informed that the Federal Executive Council, at its meeting of 1st February 2023, approved the reimbursement of the sum of 6,601,769,470 naira 99 kobo to Plateau State Government and the sum of 3,084,769,393 naira 63 kobo to Borno State Government through the issuance of promissory notes in respect of federal road projects executed by the states. The Senate may wish to note that the approval by FEC was subsequent to the recommendation of an interministerial committee which reviewed the request for reimbursement by the state governments.
Our correspondent Faliat Adenekan reports that the Senate also read 3 other letters from President Buhari transmitting to the upper chamber for consideration and passage: the Nigerian Police Force College Training School and Institution Establishment Bill 2023, transmission of the Nigeria Data Protection Bill, and confirmation of the appointment of Mr. Abdul Abubakar as non-executive director of the Central Bank of Nigeria for a second and final term. The Nigerian Communications Commission, the NCC, has reacted to claims, especially on social media, that it was responsible for leaking the audio of a telephone conversation between the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, and the founder of the Living Faith Church Worldwide, also known as Winners Chapel, Bishop David Oyedepo. The NCC's Director of Public Affairs, Ruben Moka, in a statement has now distanced the Commission from the leaked audio, saying it was bound by the Nigerian Communications Act of 2003 and therefore cannot track nor leak telephone conversations to anyone. The NCC further explained that it had been overwhelmed with inquiries by the media and was issuing the statement to set the record straight. It added that it had reported the allegations to the relevant security agencies for proper investigation and necessary action. The audio clip released by online newspaper People's Gazette has set social media on fire since Saturday. In the audio, Obi was heard begging Bishop David Oyedepo to help him mobilize Christian voters ahead of the election, especially those in the north-central states of Kwara, Kogi and Niger. The Minister of Information and Culture, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, has declared that President Muhammadu Buhari has delivered on his pledge to leave a legacy of free, fair and credible elections through the conduct of the 2023 polls. Mohammed, who stated this in Washington, D.C. during his official engagements with some international media organizations, added that Buhari lost his state, Katsina, during the presidential election to the People's Democratic Party, and the president-elect Bola Tinubu also lost his state, Lagos, to the Labour Party, which was enough proof that the elections were credible. Mohammed said the allegations of fraud being bandied by the opposition and naysayers did not add up. In reaction, the presidential candidate of the Labour Party in the February 25 election in Nigeria, Peter Obi, has accused the federal government of waging a campaign of calumny against him. Reacting to the accusation in a statement posted via his Twitter handle on Tuesday, Obi said the minister is promoting a campaign of calumny which he said would fail. Obi's accusation followed allegations by the federal government that the former Anambra state governor was inciting insurrection in the country. The House of Representatives has condemned in strong terms the reported call for an interim government. In a motion of urgent public importance, Honorable Onyime Idem had noted that the interim government is undemocratic and unconstitutional, as the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Part 1, Section 132, allows for change of leadership through the ballots. Correspondent Nathan Williams reports that while expressing their displeasure over the motion, Honorable Sagius Ogun and Nicholas Osai respectively recalled that billions have been budgeted to the National Security Advisor, yet security agencies are not carrying out their job effectively, and have further refused to mention names of individuals allegedly plotting to install an interim government in Nigeria.
That the security agents will come out and say they have the names of people that have muted this type of government in this country. You will not arrest them to prosecute them. You are wasting our precious time telling us to condemn it.
The subject of the issue now, does it mean that the state security agencies are speculating in the history of this country, that the chief of the security agency can speculate without naming them? Mr. Speaker, distinguished honorable colleagues, what are the ingredients that makes the culture of democracy? Those ingredients that make the culture of democracy is facts, rule of law. And this National Assembly and zero down to House of Rep is the temple of democracy.
Meanwhile, other lawmakers, Honorable Sahad Abu Kadri, Honorable Nkiri Ihejota and Honorable Julius Iyombere, respectively had called for an urgent need to address the situation.
One of the vice presidential candidates was on air asking that the president-elect should not be inaugurated. I don't know how somebody will come and say that it is mere speculation.
You want to abolish democracy while you're saying that if you swear people in, you're going to fight against democracy. And as far as you're concerned, that there's no democracy once swearing in takes place. Nigeria is bigger than individual.
I personally want to commend the DSS for coming out to alert us that something was in the off. It is now our duty to take it from there, to engage those undemocratic tendencies and trends.
Colleagues, those in favor of the motion say aye. Against say nay. That's it.
The Lagos State Consumer Protection Agency, LASCOPA, has sealed 2 supermarkets for selling expired products. LASCOPA in a tweet said one of the expired products found in one of the supermarkets was a certain Tommy apple drink. In the course of the inspection of the supermarkets by the monitoring and enforcement team of LASCOPA, some of the products were found to have expired since January 2023. The General Manager, LASCOPA Afolabi Shulebo, urged members of the public to call out or inform the agency of any supermarket found selling expired or hazardous products to unsuspecting members of the public. Similarly, on March 28, LASCOPA shut down Chifi Supermarket, located at number 3 Odudua Crescent, GRA Ikeja. The supermarket was shut down for selling expired toothpaste and other household products. Senegal's president has told the nation he is open to dialogue in a televised address weeks after a prominent rival who is on trial accused him of using a strategy of terror to drive out political opponents. President Macky Sall made the comments in a speech on Monday evening ahead of Independence Day celebrations on Tuesday, which are being snubbed by the Yewi Askan-We opposition coalition. The country is less than a year away from presidential elections, and last month there was an outcry when Sall said it wouldn't be illegal for him to seek a third term in power, despite the constitution limiting presidents to 2 consecutive terms. He has not yet officially declared whether he intends to step down or run for top office again. Former U.S. President Donald Trump and frontrunner for the Republican nomination in 2024 has pleaded not guilty to 34 felony counts of falsifying business records in the first degree. Trump pleaded not guilty when he appeared at Manhattan Criminal Courthouse on Tuesday in New York, where he spent approximately 2 hours being processed and arraigned. Indicted last week, Trump is the first sitting of former president to face criminal charges over a case involving a 2016 hush money payment to porn star Stormy Daniels. Meanwhile, the White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre on Tuesday refused to comment on the indictment and arraignment of Trump, insisting that President Joe Biden's focus is on the American people, not on his predecessor, and that they will not remark on legal proceedings. Finland has become the 31st member of the NATO security alliance, doubling the length of member states' borders with Russia. The Finnish foreign minister handed the accession document to the U.S. Secretary of State, who declared Finland a member. Finland's accession is a setback for Russia's Vladimir Putin, who had repeatedly complained of NATO's expansion before his full-scale invasion of Ukraine. President Muhammadu Buhari has ordered the Executive Vice Chairman, EVC, of the National Agency for Science and Engineering Infrastructure, NASENI, Professor Mohammed Sani Aruna, to immediately hand over his office to the next most senior officer in the establishment. This follows the reversal of the extension in office granted by the President from 2nd of April 2023 to 2nd of April 2025 due to the fact that the EVC had completed 2 tenures of 5 years each in the organization. In a statement, the Director Information, Willie Bassi, noted that the President appreciates the contributions of Professor Haruna in the development of the engineering infrastructure subsector of the economy and wishes him success in his future endeavors. Nigeria and Napoli striker Victor Osimhen has undergone a successful treatment in Napoli yesterday, and according to reports, the club will on Friday know whether the Nigeria international will be available in the Champions League next week. Osimhen suffered a muscle injury while on international duty with Nigeria last week and missed Sunday's 4-0 loss against Milan at the Stadio Maradona. Napoli and Milan meet again in the first leg of the Champions League quarter-final at San Siro on April 12, but Osimhen remains in doubt for the game. Fulham's Aleksandar Mitrovic has been given an 8-match ban by the Football Association after pushing referee Chris Kavanagh in their FA Cup loss to the Manchester United. The Serbia striker received a 3-match ban for the sending off, 3 for violent conduct, and an additional 2 for improper, abusive, insulting, and threatening language. He will also receive a £75,000 fine. Fulham manager Marco Silva will serve a 2-match ban also after he was sent off. And that's it on the World News this morning.